Netflix released some amazing films this year.
There's more to you than what you let everyone see.
And what if I like it that way?
Well, not that one. It's time to share my top 10 favorite films from Netflix for 2021. Welcome back, movie watchers. Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you guys my top 10 favorite Netflix films of 2021. Of course, like every single year, I didn't check out every single film that was released on Netflix. There was a few key ones that I did miss, like The Lost Daughter and Hand of God. But for the most part, I watched a lot of Netflix films. There are a few honorable mentions that I want to talk about before I get into my top 10 list. Honorable mentions include the Fear Street trilogy, just the whole trilogy. I really did like it. Wish Dragon, one of the 3 Sony animated films that was released this year. I also really liked There's Someone Inside Your House. Army of Thieves, I Care a Lot. Oxygen. Passing, directed by Rebecca Hall and starring Ruth Negga and Tessa Thompson. And Arlo the Alligator Boy. Those are just a few of the ones that I really did like, but just did not crack the top 10. So make sure to share your top 10 list down below. What were some of your favorite Netflix films released this year? Coming in at number 10 is Bad Trip. Yes, I understand that this is not the best film ever made, but it's one of the films I had the most fun with out of 2021. This is my style of humor. I think Eric Andre is absolutely hilarious, and he is so funny within this movie. This is a hidden camera prank movie that offers a story as well that also has Tiffany Haddish within the film. All of the pranks in here, the hidden camera pranks, are hilarious. This is one of the few films that I absolutely laughed at the most this year on Netflix and in theaters too. So Bad Trip, I understand it's not like the best film ever made, but when I look at the films that I enjoyed the most out of 2021, I want to enjoy myself. I want to have fun with it. I want to laugh, or I want to have those really dramatic movies, and Bad Trip made me laugh constantly throughout. I wasn't as truly invested in the story of the movie, but the jokes from Eric Andre and the really gross sequences I thought were really hilarious. Coming in at number 9 is The Summit of the Gods. This is an animated film about a photojournalist's obsession with a quest for the truth about the first expedition to Mount Everest, and it leads him on a search for a esteemed climber who went missing. This is a beautifully animated film that really captures the struggles and all of the hard work it takes to climb Mount Everest. I will never do it. I will never be in shape to do it. But for an animated film, it captures the intensity of it really well. Climbing the side of Mount Everest, climbing to the top, and everybody's obsession within it. It's handled so well. This is not only a beautifully animated film capturing the beauty of Mount Everest, but it also handles some very realistic moments within here, how people are obsessed with climbing Mount Everest. And we have this photojournalist who wants to uncover the first person that climbed Mount Everest, and it leads him down a path of discovering other climbers who have that same obsession, and it's beautifully told. It is a gripping film that I'm not sure a lot of people saw, but I would like for it to be nominated for Best Animated Feature because it is truly remarkable. Coming in at number 8 is Monster. Monster was released kind of towards the beginning of the year. And this is about Stephen Harmon, a 17-year-old honor student whose world comes crashing down around him when he is charged with felony murder. This is a court case drama, and the drama works. It is a heartbreaking film, one of the few films that made me cry this year, especially towards the end of the movie. But we see everything that had happened to this young kid and what led him to this court case. Steve wants to be a filmmaker, so we cut back to a lot of the scenes of him aspiring to be that filmmaker and his love for it. The film balances a lot between him wanting to be a filmmaker, the crime that had happened, and the court case as well. Every moment is handled very well by Kelvin Harrison Jr. The dramatic scenes work. All of the moments that are showing him wanting to be the filmmaker add a lot to the character, and it all just mixed well together to be a very emotional film. Coming in at number 7 is Malcolm and Marie. This film was very polarized back when it was released. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't like it. I really did enjoy this movie, mainly for the performances by Zendaya and John David Washington. They have really good chemistry. They have a really toxic relationship. They're arguing constantly, but it's able to bring out some of the best performances of this year. Now, I know this film was released at an odd time, that it was considered for the 2021 Oscars and not next year's Oscars. But it is a really solid film. A really simple film that just allows for the performances, those dramatic scenes to really take over. It doesn't have a very solid story. It's very simple, but what drew me into this film is those performances. They felt so raw, so realistic, relatable, and that is just what carried this film. I was so enthralled by this movie just off of those performances. The directing is great. The aesthetics are amazing. This is the film that I thought about for quite some time, and I understand why people may not like this film so much, but for the performances, the way that it's directed, and how simple it feels, made it for one of the best experiences this year. Coming at number 6 is Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead was directed by Zack Snyder, one of the more flashier films I have seen this year. I enjoy zombie films. I think that this one offered a unique experience to zombie movies. Having it set place in Las Vegas added for a lot of flashy sequences and a lot of brutal zombie moments. The cast is stacked in here. The cast works so well together. They have really great chemistry. This film is bloody as can be. It's violent. It has so many epic zombie sequences. Anything I could hope for when it comes to a fun zombie film. Constant thrills within the movie. And then having the zombie tiger and the zombie king and queen kind of thing. It is so much fun. Army of Thieves wasn't as good as this movie, but it also was just very different as well. But Army of the Dead was a total blast. Coming in at number 5 is The Harder They Fall. This is a action-packed movie, a really sleek Western film with really menacing performances by Regina King and Idris Elba. They are so good in their role. But I was really on board with both sides of this movie. We have Idris Elba's side and Jonathan Major's side, and I just was completely invested in both of those moments. And the directing in here is so good, to where you get the whole landscape of the film, all of the scenery, all of the costume designs. It just looks so good. This is a beautifully crafted Western film filled with great performances, a really gripping story as well that feels very urgent. It's a lot about revenge as well. I wasn't completely in love with the end of this film, but I do think that it is a wild ride. Coming in at number 4 is The Power of the Dog. The Power of the Dog has some of the best acting I have seen this year, with Benedict Cumberbatch giving one of the best performances. I could see him being nominated for an Oscar this year. Jane Campion directs this film so well. This is a little bit of a subtle story. Benedict Cumberbatch does not like the person that his brother is falling in love with, and she has a son. He's mean to her son, but they start to form this relationship towards the end, and we see a great transition for this character, going from someone that was completely rude to a lot of people. Once we break down the character and really understand where he's coming from, it's a good transition to where you start to care for the character. I think by having it be such a subtle film, you're really able to hone in on the characters and have a lot of development for them. The Power of the Dog is going to be a heavy hitter at the Oscars, and I can't wait to see all of the awards it brings home. Coming in at number 3 is Tick, Tick, Boom. Tick, Tick, Boom is one I'm going to be rooting for the Oscars for Best Actor and Best Picture. Andrew Garfield gives such a good performance. I listened to the song about being 30 in the 90s so much, and I just watched his performance and his facial expressions, his mannerisms, how he handles this character. It's amazing. I could see him being, I could see Andrew Garfield being nominated for Best Actor. He really gets lost in this role. The music is so good. It's very catchy. Lin-Manuel Miranda directs this film. This is his directorial debut. Awesome job. This is an uplifting story about chasing your dreams, but there is a few dramatic sequences as well within this film. But Tick, Tick, Boom is a film that made me smile. I love musicals, and this was one of my favorite ones this year. Coming in at number 2 is The Mitchells versus the Machines. This is my favorite animated film of this year. I was pleasantly surprised with The Mitchells versus the Machines. I laughed constantly throughout. It has such a heartwarming story of family within this film, especially towards the end. The jokes just keep on coming, especially with the Furbies. It is hilarious, but also the animation is so good. It's like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. It is a unique style of animation. There's so many references to other movies within this film. You can just absolutely feel the love within this film. You're really invested in the story with this family and their growth as well. They were connected very strongly a while ago, and they've separated throughout the years as the kids got older, but this machine apocalypse is bringing them back together, and it really highlights being a family and loving for each other and caring for each other, done in a way that feels urgent, also beautifully animated and hilarious. But my favorite Netflix film of 2021 goes to Don't Look Up. When it was released, a lot of people liked it, and I was a bit confused because this is the funniest film I have seen this year, but also is the most stressful film I have seen. Everybody does not believe or does not care about what Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio are saying. The world is going to end, and Meryl Streep as the president, and Tyler Perry and Cate Blanchett as news reporters, they don't care either. And this is an incredibly frustrating film because you just want to look at these characters and scream at them to pay attention to what is going on. But it's urgent from beginning to end. You just feel as the world is going to end. The acting is really great. It's completely frustrating. It's hilarious. That satire on social media and how people are taking this thing and spinning it and making songs and movies out of it and making posts on social media. It's a unique approach for a film about the world ending. And honestly, if the world was going to end the way that this is happening in Don't Look Up, I feel like everything would just play out the same way. Everybody would make fun of it and not take it seriously and make songs and movies about it, and it'd just be all lighthearted and fun. But there'd be people like Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence who are absolutely losing their mind because no one is caring about what is going on. So constantly throughout Don't Look Up, I was laughing. I was frustrated. I wanted to scream, but it is all directed and written well to make this the best film on Netflix this year. So there you guys have it. My favorite Netflix films released in 2021. This is my list. Some of these films probably won't even be on your list, but I really did enjoy the films that I just talked about. So make sure to share your list down below. What is your favorite Netflix film of 2021? I'm very curious about all of your lists, so share them down below. Stay tuned for more up and coming best lists of this year. Stay tuned for those. My name is Just So Much As Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.